back on the beach again. It's been a bit choppy, it's not very nice out there today, but I'm going to go out and with this check a couple of pots just in the bay that haven't been done for a few days. Then over there we're going to be going out in the bigger boat later to put it out ready for tomorrow, and going to be running tests with the engine that's on it. As you can see there, we've got the other engine on, so we'll be running a few tests today, see how it goes, just trying it out, because like I said, I do want to do some further trips down the south coast, so that's why I've dropped that one on. We're taking the other one home for now, and hopefully we'll get some nice weather. There's supposed to be some nice weather coming this week, that's why I've decided to put it on, because it is getting later into the season now, and yeah, I don't want to leave it too late. So let's have a look. Plus we're not catching anything out here anyway, so I just want to go and do some fishing somewhere else with the rods and see what we can find. Just walking down the beach before, and it's interesting because you get little cockles in here. It's surprising because it's mostly stony. I don't ever remember seeing them as a kid around here. It's only in recent years. I mean, these ones you do find further out. You see that one there, the clam style thing. You do get them further out. But as for that, the other one is actually the cockle, if I can find one that's come out, because they do get washed out with the roll here, because there isn't much sand, but they do seem to survive. There's one there, look. Right there. There's your classic cockle. They do make good eating. However, I probably wouldn't eat these ones. Why wouldn't I eat these ones? Because over there, there's a drain, well there's two drains. And when it rains a lot, there's a hell of a lot of water comes pouring out of that, which comes off the land. And it ends up in here. Sometimes this water in this little area can look really brown and that from the runoff. Probably wouldn't do you any harm, but still wouldn't eat them just from in here. I'd try and find a cleaner area. There's actually a beach the other end of the island where you'll find loads of those. You can just pick them up. But yeah, I mean, most of the time the water that's coming out there is probably perfectly fine, but you never know. You'll end up collecting them the day that somebody's dumped a little fertiliser in them or something. Right, I'll just wait for this time. Get my seat ready. I do that so I can, if anybody's wondering, it's so I can see over the front of the boat for any bobbers and buoys and things. If you sit too low down, you can't see what's ahead of you. Okay, go on to there, go on to there. Right. Let's, got my hold, brace yourself for launch. Let's go. So, problem with the engine straight away. Engine red, check engine light. Well, it's day 2. It's a nice day. A little bit of swell out there, but nice day. And we're going to go out and see if we can sort this engine out. Right, well, we're back on the boat again. Now, after thinking about it yesterday, bringing the boat in with those issues we had, the conclusion is it's probably the thermostat. Now, it's not the water pump, because we know that, because we see the water's pumping through. But the water that's pumping through, when the engine goes onto the red, when we're throttling up, it's still freezing cold. So I'm assuming the water's not getting through the engine for a start. And obviously the engine seems to run fine below half throttle. She seems to run okay and not have the problem. So again, overheat. So possibly thermostat, possibly block somewhere maybe. Now what I'm going to do is, because the thing is the engine hasn't been run for a very long time, the engine has barely had any use. So it's possibly that it could be blocked channels, anything like that, but it just doesn't seem it, because it's, when you saw the condition of that engine, even, you know, the telltale signs, even inside, there was nothing. It was so clean, so it looks like it's been well looked after. So I'm assuming that the thermostat is sticking. Maybe it might be dirty, it might be corroded, who knows. It might just be the fact that it hasn't been used. So we're going to take the engine out, we're going to run it at half speed, we're going to head out around the bay, just out up to the end of the bay there with the pots. So we might do the pots if we're out there, because they haven't been done for so long, and we'll see how we get on with that. And if we can run it at that speed, we will, just to see if we can free it up. Then later on we'll open her up, see if she does the same thing. It only takes a couple of minutes for it to, if it does do that, because it limits your rev or your throttle. We'll wait for it to reset itself, then we'll come back in. Now I'll either try and take the thermostat out in here, or what's most likely is I'll take it in on the high tide, put it on the inside, come back in the morning when I've got all the kit and work on it there. Because working on it out here, I mean, I might be able to, I've got to check where the thermostat is on these. You know what it's like, you don't want to lose bits over the side, that kind of thing, so we'll see. Right, well, we're out here. We brought the engine out up to, well, we didn't go above half throttle, and so far it's been okay. It feels a little bit vibrating there, but that might just be because I'm not used to this engine. Anyway, we've got out here at half throttle, and we're going to go check our pots, which are over there and over there, and then we'll go around and we'll come back in the bay. Or we could stick a fishing line down here, I don't know. Like I say, we're only really sort of more testing the engine, but at the moment it seems right. And when we get back in the bay, that's when I'm going to open her up and see if she still runs good, or if the same problem occurs. We'll find out. Let's get these done, because I don't know when I'm going to next get to them, if we go back in and have to start working on engines. I know we could drop the other one back on, but it's a bit of a pain after dropping this one on. Yeah. Morning. So we're on the beach. We brought the boat in yesterday, and we are just looking at the thermostat, and I've just taken it out. It's that little thing there, and there is quite a bit of salt on it that's built up on it. So obviously when the engine was flushed, it didn't flush it properly. There's quite a bit, like I say, of salt and muck in there. So what I'm gonna do is I've brought a flask of water with me, hot water, so I'm going to drop this in, see if it works for first thing. Then I'm going to give it a brush with a little toothbrush, and we'll try and See if that's the problem first. Now hopefully we'll get this back on okay, but it's very hard to get to the very bottom nut because I think it's the exhaust manifold or something like that. Oh, the carburetor area is in the way. And yeah, it's a pain in the ass. So, boiling water. See if we can, see if this thing will open, or at the very least get rid of the salt on it. Drop that in there. And what I'll try and do is get the water into the in there as well, where there's some salt, and try and dissolve what I can. Hopefully when the water starts to go through, it will work. It does seem to be opening, but this is very hot water, like I say, and it might have just been stuck until we released it. So yeah, I mean all the salt's dissolving anyway, so that's probably helping it. Right, this little bit of this last bolt's got to go into a place where you can't reach it. You can get the spanner on, just turn it a bit, and then eventually you can get the ring on and turn it a little bit more. But getting in there, if you drop it, it's going to go straight down the bottom of the engine. Then I'm going to have to start taking all the cowling off if I can't reach it. So a little trick is, get a piece of wire, this is just a little bit of stainless wire, put it around the head of the bolt, bend it round. Now don't obviously twist the wire, just bend it round like a hook almost, like that. And again, use thin wire, or thinnish, something you can bend out quite easily. What you do is you put your nut in like that, then you can lower that nut in, get the spanner on it, and hopefully you don't drop your nut. And then once you've got that on there, you can just bend the wire off. Right, and if you're wondering where the thermostat is, this is obviously where it attaches to the boat, front of the engine, and it's in there. I don't know if you can see that clearly enough, but you can see the bolt at the bottom's a pain in the ass. The two top bolts are okay. You could, if you wanted to, dismantle this, but I would rather leave things where they are if I can help it. But that's all you need to do, is take those three bolts out. But of course, you've got to be careful you don't drop it in there. Right, next port of call is to check the oil. Now there is oil in here, but my concern with this oil is it looks very thin. So I'm going to just do an oil change for the hell of it, just to be sure, because if I put some new oil in, anything that helps to keep the temperature down would be a good thing, at the moment anyway, while it's being temperamental. Once that thermostat, if it is that thermostat, and it should start working, and that should solve the problem, assuming we haven't got a build up of salt or corrosion in the pipes where the water flows through, which can happen, but shouldn't happen on an engine that's not done many hours. Right, oil change. And I only have a big can of oil. I'm going to fill it back up with oil, but I know that this jar, a full jar of this, is about, or just slightly under, is how much that engine takes. It's the same with the Honda pretty much. So what I'm going to do is fill this jar up with clean oil, and I know it's approximately right, because it's a bit awkward checking when you've got it on the boat like that. So a little bit under, start with around that, and then I'll try and check it after. Right, tide's coming in, it's almost here. Then we're going to go and test this engine. Hopefully we're going to go and check some pots down south, and in this bucket over here I've just collected a few green crabs. You see one son there with his claws sticking up. Collected a few green crabs. I'll grab a smaller one out so you can see. Yeah, green crab. And I might fish for some wrasse, I don't know yet. We'll see. I might go off the shore even, but I haven't decided. So we'll see how the engine gets on first. So we freed the thermostat, I say we freed it, if it was sticking. Chance it might be something else. I'm really, really hoping it's the thermostat, otherwise this engine's coming off. And it's going to have to go back home. Then we're going to have to open it up and check all the water channels probably. It's had an oil change as well, so I know it's fully oiled. It's up to the maximum level. It'll probably drop a little bit once we start using it, because obviously it's going to fill up areas in the engine that may have air in them. And yeah, and I've also fixed the GPS, because yesterday I thought I had a loose wire. Well, a couple of days I thought I had a loose wire. But the back of the switch was actually smashed. I have no idea how the back of a switch gets broken. It might have been fractured when it was installed, and just the banging of the boat has actually shattered it or made it fall apart. So that's been fixed. But it just seems this year everything is just, you know, I had the car the other day with a steering line that broke. Well, didn't break, but it was leaking. Couldn't get a new one because Honda stopped making them apparently, even though they wanted to charge £255 if they could get one. This is a lot of money. Eventually some boys over here made one up down at the digger place where they do compression joints and that, so that's on there now and that works fine. In fact, it's much better than the original. Right, it's going to get noisy because tractor, but we'll see you out there when the tide's in. Right, well, we're out here. We got out here. I tried the engine, same thing when I came out. It seemed to just, when I opened her up. So I came out, I've been running it for a little while, and it seems I can give it more power now, but it's still doing it if I go too high with the power. So I'm going to try and just run it like more and more, a little bit more each time for, you know, for the rest of the trip or whatever, just to see if the water's getting in, if there is actually just crystals and things in there which are blocking it. And it might flush it, it might just be enough to flush it out. Because like I said, the thermostat is definitely working now. Yeah, I was expecting more than that. Oh well, we'll move to another lot. Right, I hope so, that one. It shows the water pay off. Lobster might have been caught when the pot was dragging somewhere else, so. Big mackerel again though. Right, so we might have a bit of good news for a change. I just ran the engine all the way back in from the lighthouse, flat out, and no issues with it cutting, restricting speed. So maybe it has worked and it's cleared it. Instead I was going to try and run it around, hopefully clear anything. Hopefully that has solved it. We'll find out when we next use the boat. Right now we're just going to put up this pot. We only baited it yesterday, I've just got some bait left over. But yeah, so we ran it all the way from the lighthouse, flat out, and the engine didn't drop out once or go into the red light. So maybe now the water has got through the thermostat and it has flushed it, thereby giving it kind of blockage and hopefully solved. Hopefully. So, full test we won't know until we've used it for a few days. And it's got 2 lobsters in there. They're both small, I think. And there is a lobster in here. There we go. That'll be legal. Legal lobster. To check. More likely. Just get these lobsters out. That'll be too small. This one might be size actually. If it is, it'll only just be in. We'll check it in a sec. That one's just under. Just about under that one, so we'll let him go. This one here. Okay, we are pretty much set to go. See how this engine does today. Hopefully with no issues. Got the resin black back here already. So what we're going to do, we'll do these pots in here I think first, and then we'll move on out, do some out there, and then go fishing. Or we might just go fishing. Like I say, everything is can change depending on how things go with the fishing, if we see anything, the engines, that sort of thing. Now this is bootlace, which means it could be rocks. Do is we're going forwards and then we'll spin around backwards. And you could walk to these pots almost. Get a bit wet, you could walk to them. I mean, they might be a little bit shallow, but you know. It's always fun trying out new spots. I say new spots. This isn't new spots, but. That's not far off the beach, I can tell you that much. Anything in this case. Little baby lobster. I will move them a bit deeper though, I'll just a little bit. The trouble is when you get right near the beach, quite often you get a lot of small ones and a lot less decent ones. This pot I might have to push myself off the shore, I might have to lift the engine. It's that close to the... Oh no, it's just there actually. That's alright then, we'll get this. We'll make sure that we don't... In fact, we might get a good look at this one. Just twist you around like that. You better see as we come past. See it right there? Right there. Going to stop the engine there because I don't want to go any further back. I don't think there's anything in this one, can't see anything. You can see how shallow that was. It might have been just a bit too shallow. Putting it over there. I mean, it's got a small one in it. Like I say, you will get a lot of small ones. So you want. There you go. Back. These will have enough bait because they're only baited yesterday. So if we just come out of here a bit. I've got to be careful here because there is rocks here and the sun is in my eyes. So. Come out of here really slowly. It's not too far from it actually. There's the pot right there. There is a lobster in it. There is a lobster, I can see it. Spider crab sitting eating the bait. And that's probably just undersized. You've got a crab with hardly any claws or legs. Go back. Another crab. Now the lobster's got all of the crab. Yeah, it's only a small lobster. Everybody's trying to pinch me at the moment. No gloves. There you are, little one. And the crab. Okay, so these will be okay for bait, or this one will be okay for bait. I'm just going to put it back near that rock. That's where the lobster will be at. We're in that area.